In this session, we're going to talk about something that I've never spoke about before, resource mailboxes and dealing and scheduling resources in Microsoft 365. What are they? And more importantly, what can they do for you? Stay tuned, you will learn something here. Hello everybody, Andy Malone, Microsoft MVP, as well as a Microsoft certified trainer. On today's episode, I thought I would take a look at Microsoft Exchange Online's and Microsoft 365's resource mailbox feature. This is something that I've never really spoke about before, and it's something that's so important to understand, especially if you're integrating not just simply with Teams, but also if you've got physical resources, as well as things like meeting rooms, company cars, projectors, anything in fact that you want to schedule. So stick around because it's going to be really super interesting. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, then shame on you. Bump that subscribe button up there, ring that bell, and come and join this great learning community that I'm trying to build. And if you like the session, of course, please bump the like button up there. It really does make a difference to my channel. And comments, questions about this or any of my other sessions, of course, always just get those down below. So I think without any more jibber jabber, I think it's about time we jump in and take a look at how to create and manage resource mailboxes in Microsoft 365. Check it out. Okay, so here I am in Microsoft 365, and the first place I'm going to go to is the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Now, when we talk about recipients or users, of course, there are different types of user accounts that you can have. As you know, you can either have users, i.e. active users, you can have contacts, so these are typically people just external outside your organization. You can also have guest users as well, so for example, guests that you want to interact with resources within your organization. Now, as well as those things, we also have resources that you can interact with. And the idea of a resource is that your users can schedule a meeting room, for example, or they can schedule a piece of equipment to be loaned out. So to get access to this, you can do this in a couple of places. You can either come into Microsoft 365 and Rooms and Equipment here, and you can essentially add a resource from here. Now, when you click onto resource, again, you get the same options. Do you want to create a room or a piece of equipment? So that's the first place that you can do it. The second place is if you come into the Microsoft Exchange Admin Center. Again, if you come down to recipients this time, and if you come into resources here. And now you've got two options. It's pretty much the same thing. You can either add a room mailbox here, or you can add in, for example, an equipment mailbox. So you can see here we've got a number of rooms already, but I can go ahead and I can add in an equipment mailbox. So for example, what do I want to call this? I could call this my projector 1. So perhaps it's a company projector, and you can see it's filled it in already. Now, again, I'm only using one domain name here, so I'm just going to add that. And that's the key thing. You can see it has an email address. And of course, if it's got an email address, then you can schedule it. So then I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, what's the capacity? Now, because this is a piece of equipment, of course, there's only one. So if you had 5 projectors and so on, then you could have different versions of it. You can also specify where it's actually located. So I could say it's in Edinburgh. Do I want to assign a phone number for this? So again, I could put in, I want to assign a phone number. So I could do that. They always do that in the movies, don't they? 5555. Again, I could say which department is it in, which company. So I only have one company, of course. I could put in an address book policy if I had one. So I've got no policy at the moment. And again, I can put in the details of that. Again, you can specify which country this is in as well. So I'm just going to say this is in the UK. I'm going to click on next. Now here it says, okay, allow repeating use of it. So repeating meetings. Allow the scheduling only during working week. So again, if you work weekends, it will only block out and schedule working week. Automatically decline meetings outside of the booking times below. So again, I can put a booking time in. You can see the default is 180 days, aka 6 months. And you can also have the maximum booking time of 24 hours. So again, if you wanted to change that and, for example, make it 2 days, then you can do that as well. You can automatically send a reply. Okay, so I could say thanks for booking the projector. Okay, so I could put in a little message there. Booking delegates automatically accept decline meeting requests, which is quite useful. That saves you having, if you don't do that, by the way, then you're going to have to put in the name of somebody who has to manually accept those. Specify users whom you want to accept or decline the meetings manually. So, you know, it might be somebody in an IT department or within a school or something like that. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to accept that, and you can see I'm going to do a quick review, and that's my resource created. So that's showing you how you can create an equipment resource. Okay, so there you go. That's as done. And you can now see that that projector has now been added in. So that's creating the resource in a Microsoft Exchange Online. Now, if I come back in here, and you can see that I just refresh this page here. So I'll just do a quick refresh, and you can now see that the projector is in here as well. Now, this time, of course, the difference here between the wizard is that you can choose either a room or a piece of equipment. So again, the screen is similar, but slightly different. Now, as I've already created one, let's have a look at one of these conference rooms. So I've got one here called Conference Room Adams, and you can see that I've got some general information. I can put in the location if I want to. I can edit the phone number. I can also delegate how many delegates are in here as well, if there's any kind of exchange email settings. And you can see I've specified that the booking options are on, and you can add and you can delete these anytime. Now, if you want to edit the details, again, I can do that. So I can say, hey, what's the capacity of this room? So I'm going to say the capacity is 25. I'm going to say that this is located in Edinburgh. Again, I can put in a phone number here. So 555. So just to bring this out, 555. And 5555. Okay, so I can put in that phone number there, and I can just go ahead and save those changes. So that's the creation of the resource mailboxes, but how do you actually use them? Well, you can gain access to them, of course, through Teams, SharePoint, but realistically, you're probably going to want to go into Outlook here. So I'm going to go into Outlook online, and you can see here that I'm in Outlook, but as I scroll down, you can see it shows me the groups, the folders, inboxes. But what I want to do is I'm going to scroll up here, and you can see that you've got a number of different options here. So I've got my calendar here, of course. I've got my kind of favorites, and you can see that as I go into the favorites, you can see that the rooms now appear. Okay. Now, if I go into the rooms, again, you can see it gives me some details about that particular resource. So who do I need to contact? And if it's, for example, let's say a meeting room, or if it's a Teams room, you can actually upload files in preparation for that meeting. You can also email the room here as if you want to do that. And or if there were any emails associated with it, and likewise you can also connect it to LinkedIn there as well. So that's just how you view the rooms, but how, of course, do you go ahead and book them? Well, I'm going to come into my calendar here, and in my calendar, I could say, hey, right, tomorrow I want to come in here, and I want to create an event. Okay, so what do I want to do? Well, I want to create a meeting. So this is my meeting with staff, okay, and I want to invite some attendees. Now, of course, I want it to be in the conference room Adams, so I'm going to add in that, and you can now see it's now prompting me for a schedule. So it's showing me when that particular room is actually available. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to say, yeah, between 4 and 4:30, this is when it's available, and you can see it's gone ahead and it's filled that in for me. I can also do a repeat. You can set up a particular time zone here as well. Who else do I want to bring in? So let's say I'm going to bring in Adele, I'm going to bring in, who else? Let's bring in, we'll bring in Jean-Luc Picard, and of course you all know that I'm a major Trekkie, so I'm going to bring in William Riker as well. I want to be notified. Again, the other thing that you could also do is you could search for a room in a particular location. So if you put a location on and you've got location enabled in your browser, then it will obviously go ahead and do that. I can also attach a document here, so I can say, here's the notes for the meeting. So there we go. I've gone ahead. I'm going to send that invite out now, and you can see that that has now gone into my meeting. I've scheduled that meeting. The meeting room has now been booked, and it's looking pretty good. So there you go. That's how, first of all, you can create and manage conference rooms or resource mailboxes or equipment in Microsoft 365. And also we talked about how you can schedule them. How cool is that? So there you have it, resource mailboxes in Microsoft 365. You know what they are and you know how to configure them. Absolutely awesome. Hey, listen, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button up there. It does make a difference to the channel. And please click on the subscribe button and come and join my great learning community. Comments, questions, as always, get those down below. I love those. That's it for this time. You take care. I'll see you soon. Hey, thanks so much for dropping by today. Here's a couple of videos that you may enjoy, and while you're here, go ahead, click on the subscribe button and you won't miss out.